Jason Brandon will get the start here in this men's final. And boy, oh boy, am I excited for this one. It's going to be the best of 7 race to 4 format, cricket, to get things going. That standard of expectation you look when you see these guys is you have to be hitting at that 4 marks or more. I mean, really, you're looking at a 4.5 average in cricket. That's kind of maintained a standard of play that they were kind of expected to be at. Spellman's going to try to best by going to the 19s here. Awkward second dart, moving well over. Doesn't get the close, so Jason Brandon has full reign to go right at it, and you're going to see a little bit more of that aggression when you see these 2-mark openings, right? These failed closes, if you will, and you can see sinks it there on the second dart. Free reign to keep moving on. No real reason to go back up to points on that last dart there with Alex Spellman not having a house. Is currently going to have to play from behind to leg 1. But the question is always going to be who holds throw the best, not anything else there. 4 for Spellman, does get him on. Brandon does get that closed out, and then back up top to go ahead and pad on a little bit more and play a nice conservative last start. And that's a pretty good last start in the sense that it forces Spellman now to have to hit perfection on these 17s to really put some pressure on this leg. Otherwise, he's just kind of letting Jason go on cruise control after the lax opening. A little bit of frustration from Spellman. One thing you will have to give Alex credit for is the fact that he's able to just kind of maintain that cool, right? He's able to kind of keep himself centered and find that nice, calm persona where, yeah, he might give some looks of disgust here and there. I mean, who doesn't when they miss when they're really trying to get a big hit? But, you know, he can go for a miss and then come right back and be able to just nail it as he's right all over these 16s. Last one there, looks like that's a 5. No, it is a 7. Does get it in there. Well thrown, but again, playing from behind, and Jason Brandon currently in full control. Double bowl for the win. Not quite, but that's still a pretty good 6 mark there. So Spellman just going to try to get himself recentered. You can see he pops that shot at the 20 there and stays up on it. He knows that he's going to get the start in this next leg, and he's going to be able to regroup. There's no cause for alarms this early on in a game like this. Do see in the background there we have a couple more players hanging out and giving their support. You see John Beard back there as well. I believe he was just put into the FDA Darts Hall of Fame. That's the Florida Darting Association. Spellman starts off with a 5 in this one. Yeah, it looks like they were just getting that tablet set up there real quick and put it in there. So Jason Brandon now. Doesn't answer with a 5. Does get that close, though. So Spellman, if he does attack this, needs to be tacked full. High on the wire. Don't want to deflect. Yeah, you can see he tried to position that dart pretty well, and it just kind of got away from him just a little bit there. So he had to go for the cover on the top. You expect at least 4 marks needed on these 19s before any other moves are considered. There's the 4. Taking the shot up. Does not get it, but does find a single there. So Spellman going to battle back. Now can go right at it. Does go right at it. Back up top. A good shot there, an 8 mark for Alex Spellman. Big hit indeed. And you can see that standard starting to rise. 4.6 plays a 4.3. And that mid-4 average is going to be that baseline that we kind of expect to find for these guys, especially if you want to be comfortable in where you're at. These guys are going to press each other a lot. I mean, this is a final. These guys have been working hard to get to this point. And last dart there, just back to the trip 20. Again, taking that like nice, cautious setup shot there. It is A-okay to take that third dart. And when you're asking yourself, hey, what should I do with my third dart? Where should that go? The question is, where does that miss the best? And a single 20 adds points. A trip 20 adds even more points, right? And that's why you take that last dart there. And you can go right at the 18s with a clean shot. 110-point difference, so he does go ahead and just grab a bowl there. You can go 17s or bowl. In that situation, you want to make sure you're that 9 mark ahead of your opponent, even if this 9 mark is hit on the 17th, which it will not. Could not regain the point lead there, but it's still a beautiful 7 hit. Spellman not wasting any time. Closes the bowls as well. What a shot this is. bam, right over to the 15s on the last one. Love that. And I love utilizing the bowl. And that's the one thing you'll see in the big difference between looking at the soft tip versus steel tip on cricket, right? The utilization of the bowl is always going to be higher in steel, and it's always going to be more impactful in steel. And I think it leads to some very interesting scenarios that a lot of players may not be used to accounting for. Wasn't happy with the attempt at the 16s there. Does go up on that last start. Finds the first one. He needs to find at least one more in there. He wants to try to give himself a shot, right? So Jason Brandon, if he hits at least 2 of those trips on the in the first 2 darts, he can get a shot at those 20s. You don't want to do those 20s versus the corner pockets battle for too long. Does get the point lead back. And does take a look over there, trying to grab that secondary real estate. I think that's a risky time to do so, just because you have the bulls in your back pocket, but you just don't want to ever lose your 20s. Jason Brandon he says fudge and a side of ice cream there to the camera as he was debating what he wants to do. His heart was telling him, hey, go up and close that 20 on the last dart. That really, though, with the bulls being close in the background, it completely changes the shot selection. If I'm Spellman, I'm starting 15s here. I'm not Spellman. But he does get the close on the 15s and 16s. Needs a single to get the point lead, and does so there. So Alex Spellman does grab this leg. And a good leg grab it was. 1-1 in this one so far. Jason Brandon to show first in this one. Here we go. So far holds a throw across the board. Where's that first break going to come from? It got a little hairy in that leg for a second, and you can kind of see these guys, again, 4.2 for Jason Brandon so far, a 4.0 for Alex Spellman. These guys are in similar regards. It's about who can hit that next gear, and right now, Spellman would like to hit it here. Almost, but does go high on that last. Good as 7 mark, though, to put pressure on Jason Brandon. Did get a chance to do an interview with him earlier, talking with Jason there, and let me tell you, he is an incredibly proud father, talking about Clayana and her experience over there playing in the women's series overseas. He honestly is one of those guys that is just really happy to see his kid's success grown, and is fully okay with her taking the reins, and is also okay with him taking them himself as well. It's really cool to see that parental relationship and getting that next generation of darters involved. 2 years ago, Will Stewart and I were talking about Clayana Brandon, saying, man, she's pretty good. I wonder if there's any relation to Jason Brandon. And boy, were we right. Just didn't know how right we were. Spellman's finding these 19s with ease on the first dart of every single throw this leg, and finds the 20s now, back down to the 19s. Finding an 8 mark once again for Alex Spellman. The Jackal jacks it in. Oh, but there we go. On the response there for Jason Brandon, finding a 7 in response. These guys are battling and firing on all cylinders. You can see the averages rising in this leg. 5.5 plays 6.7. Another first dart triple for Alex Spellman on these 19s. And he finds a 7 in there. Yeah, you can tell those 19s are his bread and butter. And if I'm Jason Brandon, I'm thinking, man, get this guy off the 19s. When can I get a shot at them? He would be chomping at the bit. But he needed at least 2 darts the trip on the first 2 to be able to do it. Not in that shot order, so Spellman will self-control. His perfection on the first dart trip 19 is still going. Oh my goodness, on for a 9 mark here. Looking at the 18s, doesn't quite get it, catching the wire there, but wow, the standard these guys are playing at right now, phenomenal stuff, and kind of what you expect to see from these guys. Good first dart, can stack on it. Yeah, finds 2, gets a shot. Does take the look, and you know that he's going to take that look. He has to get those 19s away from Spellman if he can. Okay, I'm not even surprised anymore that the first dart's in the trip. Alex, you know it's in there. You know it's in there. And he gets the 18s there, back down for another 8 mark potentially. Look at that, over to the 16s on the cover shot. Beautiful shot from the Jackal. Oh my goodness. Over to the 17s now. And I do like that comfort switch from the 19 feeling blocked going over to the 16s. 16s are like 19s upside down if you look at the numbers. So Spellman now can just continue on the closing, finding the 17 there. Has not missed a first dart triple this leg. This is actually incredible. Goes back on the 19s for the cover there. 6.9 average in a game where the opponent's throwing a 5.7. This is an incredible league of cricket. Seven found there for Jason Brandon. Not going to go quietly in the night on this leg. He doesn't want this break of throw to take place. That's the first start triple that Spellman missed. Looks like that did kick up in favor for him and decides to go back to grab the 19s there. A single 19 does grab the point advantage on the Bulls there, making it a 26-point difference. So it did add a bull. Pushing it down the line was always going to be that factor of when should I point, when should I not. Yeah, I don't hate that last start from Jason Brandon. He lucked into a 19. The bull kind of went a little awkward in position. Get the close there. Saves the dart later just in case there's an error here. Oh, and there might be a potential shot. Oh, big last start there for Alex Spellman. Oh, my goodness. 6.5 to a 5.6, or 6.1 to a 5.6. You can take a look there. A little bit of a sigh of relief as that was some incredible standard and break a throw there. Both these players now averaging a 4.8 in the match. Not going to be happy with that last start. Sometimes, I mean, and when you're this good, you're not thinking, I want to plant a big single, but you have to be tactful in the execution, and Jason Brandon's going to try to punish it pretty heavily. They're finding 7 on the 20s. 20s will always be everyone's favorite number, unless you're Alex Spellman. He really seems to like these 19s right now. But not going to be able to find that first start trip success he found in the last leg. Does find 5 on the 9s, but Jason Brandon not relinquishing any control. Now, this is where I would start considering with the strategy here is taking an extra dart or 2 up top, making sure you're defending those 20s very actively, knowing that you only need a single for them to go away. And Alex Spellman, if he gets anywhere near those points, he's going to have a shot. There, he goes ahead and grabs it. I don't mind that shot at all, especially because, I mean, you're talking about a 44-point difference, which means that Jason Brandon needs to hit a 6 mark here. And he does hit a 6 mark, and then some, with bonus 17 at the end there. So Spellman's game on closing the 20s did not pay off, but it does add a little bit of longevity to this game if he can trust his corner pockets, play those 16s and 15s to his advantage. Gives a little head nod of approval on that last start there. But only 3. Jason Brandon, that's a good marker on that wire. Yeah, moved over just a little bit. He's going to try to click off the barrel. And there you go. That last dart did what he tried to do on the second dart, and he kind of gives himself a little bit of a laugh. Spellman needs all 3 of these in the bed. Good marker dart. Clicks right on top of it. Just outlines the wire. Not going to be happy with that turn, but it was a millimeter off from being a perfect round. I wouldn't be too upset about it. Jason Brandon needs to waste no time grabbing these 3 singles. Big single on the last start, and does do so there. And that's the errors you won't see from these guys. You're not going to see those misses at the big single for the close. They can't afford to have those darts like that, and they're well aware going against each other, the standard of which needs to be met. 17, the last dart there, bringing it all the way down to just the Bulls. Leaves an outside opportunity, but that's only if this last dart doesn't go in the bull, but it does. Jason Brandon making it 2-2 and able to kind of break back here. So that's a huge momentum shift away from Alex Spellman. These guys are not giving any bit of an edge to each other here if they can. Race to 4, so we're halfway there. And there, just a 3 mark open. See how Spellman responds. He's going to work his way up from that first dart. Yeah, he's going to have to stay now. Didn't find it. And does grab 3 there to respond with the 3. So it doesn't take away any momentum currently in the favor of Jason Brandon. Just a 3 in response. So playing this a little close for comfort here. Spellman just looking for that first or second dart trip. He wants a shot at those 20s. This is the turn where he's going to get that shot. But he does stay over there. Oh, my goodness. Grabbing that. He must have loved the position of those darts because it went right on in. I call it and jinx it all up there. So we'll see what Jason Brandon's able to do. Trying to find those 20s. Just a 3 mark again. Not going to be happy with it. You can see going right at it there. Goes into the 1, though. Has to pivot away. Yeah, he does go back to the 18s. Gives himself a head shake, but that's a huge last start there. Because if you miss it, it gives a relatively easy shot for these guys, for Jason Brandon, to be able to shoot at those 18s. Point lead will be regained on that dart there. He's going to stay for all of them. Big hit there for Jason Brandon. And Spellman goes ahead and grabs it for his third 8 mark of the match. Not quite yet, but big momentum shift there, making it a 2-point game. Again, you're gambling on Jason Brandon hitting a 6 mark. Trip 17, trip 18. Now he has to stay for the close, but he doesn't like the position of dart. Moving way over there. Oh, my goodness. Practically from another zip code to get the big single there. Surprised he didn't go the other direction, but maybe he just really likes to throw across the body and not away from it. I'm not quite sure why he went that direction, but he did get the big single there. Spellman does collect the 5 on the last. 88-point difference is all that separates these guys. And you know that means that they're one big turn from one grabbing the momentum from the other. 3-point separation. This is about as close as you can get here. Favor is still going to be an Alex Spellman in this one so far, just considering he has the higher ground position. And he does go ahead and close there, going back up to the 18s. Does pepper the wire there, but grabs another single, expanding that points just a little bit there. 21-point difference now. Oh, what a shot this would be. This is that momentum shift, that one big shot over to the 18s. Gets a 7 mark there. And Alex is just going to take his time. He does get the point lead back on that dart. I don't think he liked the way that was kind of leaning, so he goes down to the 15 for the coverage. Just grabs 2 singles there. Again, leaving a big shot here, though. Trip 16, double 18, trip 15 is a huge shot. Oh, and it catches the wire. That looked like it was about to go in it. Yeah, not going to be happy. And then that last dart kicks down. It was deflected. Well thrown, Mr. Brandon. But Spellman in pole position now. Grabs the 18 down to the 15s. And then over to the 16s for a shot. And gets right there for the single. It's not quite out of the mix. You can see Jason Brandon double-checking the math here. First start trip does not get that point lead, so he cannot close both numbers and have the point lead. Let's see how he likes to do the approach. He's going to like to do a big eye roll for that first start. Good correction. Last one there, looks like it was a single, so finds 4. Does regain that point lead. 15 points makes Alex throw that extra dart, which is important. But he only needs a 3 mark. He can go ahead and get 2 single 16s here. Of course, going at the trip. Now he has to stay for the single, though. And it does do so there. So here's the question, is if Jason Brandon hits a single or double bull in the first start, does he go for the close? Well, let's see. He's deciding to stay. Does get 4 bulls in there, so big shot. It's one of those questions of, do you want to risk getting pointed into oblivion, or do you want to stay on, or do you want to go for some closes after a bull or 2? In this case, Alex Spellman needs to be careful after that first dart. His barrel's perfectly blocking the tips of those darts. Only a 2 mark there, so single bull for the 18s and 15s. Will get the shot here. This would be a heck of a steal. Needs to regroup himself. This is a hole to throw that feels like a break. Oh, he doesn't swing it? You can see Alex Spellman kind of giving a weird reaction in the background too. He was kind of surprised that Jason Brandon really didn't take the look. I think he'd take 1 dart at the 18 there, especially with the single slash already on it. We'll see if it hurts, though. It only hurts if Spellman hits. Of course, he always wants to hit. Gets 90 points there, which would get him a 4-point lead. So effectively the same position. You have to take the swing here. This time he does. And that last start there, he deflects back on the bull. I wouldn't even hate if it stays there to grab one more single 18. Yeah, first start dead in the trip. He's going to stay on that. He's going to try to load it all up if he can. Oh, my goodness. What a time for a 7 mark there. And showing why I think Jason Braden probably would have been more advantageous. Of course, he could have always done the same on the 15s. But just you want to try to – you gas them out if you're hitting bulls as well as Jason Braden currently is on the bulls versus 15s than the bulls versus 18s math. It's just 54, bigger number. Bigger number, better player. Does grab the first. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want to accidentally. He can't accidentally leave a game shot, so he can just go ahead and go right at it. But wants to make sure he doesn't go and have to load up a bunch on the next go around. I wouldn't be surprised if he grabs an extra point here. Yeah, it does go ahead and go back up to the trip. So Jason Brandon needs 4 bulls to get that point lead back. There's 2. Needs to find a double. And that's the time where the frustration kind of got to him. Wanted to just take the pop shot. Kind of basically relinquishing the leg over to Alex Spellman. 2 bulls needed. 1 more to go. And Alex Spellman's on match point 3-2 in this matchup. And boy, was that the heck of a battle in this leg too. You can tell the standard tapered off just a little bit, but the strategy in play, I think, was better from Alex Spellman here. And Jason Brandon going to have to kind of recoup in this, as I felt like, I don't know, Spellman just seems like he's gaining more and more control as the match goes on. Jason Brandon right near him just needs that one big hit, that one big turn to really start to rattle the jackal and try to turn things around. Going high. 3 there does get the close. Spellman, I wouldn't be surprised if he continues on his 18s route. He might save it for later, though. Yeah, he put it in the safety deposit box, and he's ready to cash out already. Oh, my gosh, over to the 17s. No, he goes to the bullseye. He keeps doing that. Normally, you would see it when the 16s and 15s left, the players would utilize the bull. He's doing it a little bit earlier than most, but it's also a comfort shot. And you can see Jason kind of having a laugh here with Alex. These guys have a lot of respect for each other. There's no question about that. Trying to regain that point lead. Does do so on the second dart. 2-number advantage plus the bull. Decides to continue to press the bulls. And I will always say, if you grab the bulls, if you can grab that multiple real estate and play that more thermonuclear style, going wide instead of tall, it can lead to some very good game dichotomies that typically will end up in your favor. It puts so much pressure on the other person, knowing that at any point, right now, Alex Spellman is in theory 10 marks away from winning. A trip, and a single. There's the trip, and there's the trip. Oh, catch the wire there. And Jason Brandon saying, I thought it was a 16 there in the background. He's almost cheered for him a little bit. I mean, Spellman's really finding his stride here. And 6.3 in this leg, 4.7 in the match so far. And a 4.4, again, that 4.5 line was the target. And I would say Jason Brandon's doing a perfectly fine job. I really think where this match would have changed is if he won that battle back on the bulls, and that one time where he didn't take the shot when he had game darts in hand really kind of came back to change the momentum here. Spellman 2 16s and some points away. Well, going to go ahead and give Jason Brandon a chance here. I mean, really, if you're Jason Brandon, you're like, all right, trip 20, trip 18, trip 15, and hope that Alex Spellman misses the bulls. And that might be all she wrote for this one for your USSDA final here. Alex Spellman just needs to regain this point lead, and it'll all be over. 33 point is the target line here. 2 big singles. There's 1. And there's 2, 3, and 4 as he finds a 4 mark there. You can see some clapping in the background. A lot of respect from everybody here. And what a good showing from Alex Spellman and Jason Brandon. You felt like that was a pretty competitive final there. 4.7 versus the 4.4.